What is good, everybody, and welcome back to Team COG here. Today, guys, I have a tournament report for you guys. It is currently 1:17 a.m. in the morning. I just got back from locals. This is like my fourth time trying to record this video because I just can't seem to say stuff right. So we're just going to go through it. If I do another mess up, we're just going to just roll with it. But for those who don't know, I ended up taking this deck 4-0 undefeated. That's right, undefeated in Swiss, only to get shot down pretty harshly in the top four, which I will have a actual video showcasing that because I end up eating a lot of hand traps, and I play correctly through the hand traps, but I end up just getting kicked in the nuts by Dark Ruler. But I want to show that video to highlight plays, right? Very high impact hand traps against the deck. With that being said, if you guys enjoy the sleeves, this deck box here, which was also by Imperium Duelist, and the hat by Imperium Duelist, check out the links down in the description below. Head over to Imperium Duelist and use code TEAMCOG10 to get 10% off your orders and stuff there. Proud to be sponsored by them and everything. Anyway, let's just go ahead and jump into the matchups. That's why we're here, right? We want to know what I played against. Well, round one was Dragon Link with some Dragon Maid stuff. I just completely 2-0'd him. With that being said, I believe he just played incorrectly with his own deck, learning it. And also, he dropped 3 hand traps on me in the form of Effect Veiler, Ghost Bell, and Ash. And I just was able to play through all 3 of those correctly because I don't think he truly knew what to hit in my deck. And that's just, that's just one of the benefits this deck has. Also, the deck is just very good in general with playing through just disruptions, which is really nice. But quick 2-0 there. Game 2 actually was, or round 2, I should say, was against Tyrmalence. And that deck was, the Tyrmalence strategy is just kind of crazy in general, right? But we ended up getting 2-1 there. Just being able, this deck just plays around, being able to send their Tyrmalence stuff as cost, not effect, is huge, allowing us to dodge certain effects and stuff that they have. And then also, he ended up trying to super poly me, and he just didn't have the correct, he was missing the card, which his profile is actually going to be uploaded. My man John, who played Tyrmalence, is going to be uploaded on the channel. Anyway. So with that being said, you guys will see that, and he was missing Garuda the bird, and he didn't have it, so he couldn't super poly my stuff, which was pretty nice. And then we go on to round 3. I played against Flo Wonder Rees, and we had a gentleman's agreement that there was going to be no Mystic Mine. Now, do I know if he was playing Mystic Mine? I don't know. He told me he wasn't, and I told him if I saw Mystic Mine, I'd reach across that table and smack the hell out of him. So I never saw Mystic Mine. But this deck actually, there's a lot of, not a lot of decks can beat this deck's full board. This deck's board is able to be, so many disruptions. 7 disruptions. 4 at a minimum, right? This deck can just put up a lot. And I'll hopefully show you guys that in a test hand video coming up. If you guys want to see that, comment down below. But the Flow matchup was kind of rough. I went first. Set up minimal. He de-shifted me, so I was able to set up just, Mudan with the set sheet. And I had the Princess in hand. So, being able to stop him from re-getting back the Rabina, being banished off of all the crazy stuff they have, and being able to snatch steal something was really cool. It prevented him from Tribute even getting Impin out, and then just on the clackback, it was pretty good. Game 2, he stopped me, man. That Harpy's Featherstorm, riddle me this. How come we're getting rid of Red Reboot, but having cards that, literally shut off all effects? That's just Archetype Pacific, I know, or, just Type Pacific. But anyway, specific, excuse me. Late at night, again. Riddle me that, guys. Riddle me that. So anyway, we ended up getting that one just because if we end up negating their add back, we tribute their normal summons and stuff like that. We just kind of the deck just kind of fumbles. It's one of those snowball decks that once it gets the snowballing going, it's hard to stop. But Plant Link just has a lot of monster spot removal, and it's a tribute based deck. So there you go. Then we go on to round 3, which if I believe correctly, if my mind serves me the best, that was round 3 was the Flow. Round 4 was Neos, and that deck, with all the support it got, it's just, I had no clue what it did. But again, this deck just puts up such a powerful board that it's very hard for any deck to really crack it. Even if you do draw the blowout cards, right? The deck's just so strong. But this deck does a lot of cool stuff. It can technically turn skip and stuff like that. His profile, he actually won the whole tourney. So again, I beat him in the Swiss, but he ended up winning it when we broke the top 4, which is good on him. His profile will be up on the channel sometime this week. But something I do want to discuss and talk about is when I get into my top 4, I end up playing against Shadal, Dogmatica, Invoked. And I haven't seen this deck in quite a while, but it's technically back at full power. The deck, again, I win dice roll. I eat, I think, 1 or 2 of his hand traps, which is fine. I set up my board, can't crack my board. The next turn we go, and he ends up just doing his whole shenanigans. I did not draw a single normal summon. No vanilla. My hand, to this day, I can remember it. It was 3 Lilybell. It was then Madon and a Monster Reborn. That was my opening 5 cards, and I drew, I think, what did I draw? I drew, goodness. Oh, I drew the Sunavalon Bloom for turn, so nothing good. That happened 3 times throughout the tournament. I opened 3 ofs. Not Lily, but 3 ofs. I opened Lily twice, which is statistically very improbable to see. Like, literally, some of you math whizzes will be able to tell you the chances of me seeing all 3 Lily in a 40-card deck in my opening hand is not that high. Like, I should not be seeing that. And then I saw Unexpected Dies, which is, again, that's crazy that it happened 3 times. I mean, there's what's that meme out there, right, guys? It's like, this happened to me 3 times. Not saying it's like anything crazy, but it's a lot. There's like a meme like that, and that's literally what happened to me. Some cards I really want to highlight, though, is definitely Lilyboria and the Therion package. I literally was getting there was like so many times like I was supposed to get my back blown out by Evenly and my back blown up by Nib, but having access to like Lily plus Loki and just like any iteration of this right here was remarkable. I still to this day do not understand why people, I don't get it. I honestly at this point I don't. Tired Charles here at Team COG is going to be brutally honest. If you're losing to cards like Evenly, if you're losing to cards like Nibiru, you're losing because you're not playing this. It's literally what the deck needed, and clearly if you don't believe that, you didn't play this deck before all the Rikka stuff, and you just hopped on the Rikka hype. This card is a powerful extender. Even this card right here, like, guys, like, even if you open King Regulus and you pitch it off of, like, Shrine, because Shrine's searchable, Lily can equip the Regulus, and then Lily's an Omni-Negate. Like, there's just so many ways. Like, this card is just not a brick. I don't care what anyone says. There's even, like, the field spell, Disc Coliseum. Ooh, you open Disc Coliseum. Cool. I guess I'm just going to add Lilyboria as an extender and just go on with my day. You guys just have fun losing to Nib and, like, Evenly and stuff. But today, believe it or not, I did get Dark Rulered and Evenly. Not much we can do about Dark Ruler, sadly. We really can't. But another thing to capitalize on Regulus is that this deck has no spell or trap disruptions. Period. Like, we cannot stop spelling traps unless you play Regulus. So, like, this deck just gets literally bodied by any deck that plays, like, any sort of spell or trap, like, removal, disruptions, etc. So, like, why wouldn't you play Regulus to counter that? Would you rather just, like, literally, you have your board and they flip, like, a crackdown on you, which happened today, believe it or not, happened. They just take your stuff for free. And then you can practically just get kind of snowballed from there because they took one of your prime interruptions, you know? So, I think you gotta play Regulus. Harpies, never saw it. Actually, I did see it once, but it didn't matter. Triple T's is a card I want to talk about. I never saw this card. I do believe it's still good. I do believe people are moving back to play more hand traps. So, like, again, Triple T is in a deck like this that, like, completely can eat hand traps and play through them. Like, literally, you hand trap us and, like, we can still combo. Like, having Triple T to look at the hand and rip more combo, like, rip more hand traps and then rip some combo starters is really good. The Rikka stuff is insane. But so these are the 2 cards I recently added as of just like earlier today. And before people are like, well, I thought Rikka Petal was a 3 of. Not in this list, because Rikka Petal is a subpar normal summon that can get you to decent interruption, but you'd rather normal summon the Vanilla, which alone by itself can get you to far more disruption than just one Petal can. But what Petal does have for us is it is a bridge to get us to the Vanilla through Glamour. It is also recursion during the opponent's end phase to come back, which is really good, which allows us to search. 1 for 1 was an addition. I got tired of seeing multiple painful decisions, so I cut painful decision to 2, incorporated one of these, because technically they will do the same thing. And again, like, just this right here performed phenomenally. I'm very happy. Part of me just wants to play more than one Petal, but I know, like, in the list that I'm playing currently right now, like, it's not going to be good. It's not too many Petals is not too good, and that's one thing about this deck is, like, maybe that's the Rikka Sunavalon list that plays a lot more defensive cards. They do have a little bit better of a grind than probably this list does, but I actually feel like this list has, like, a very solid grind in the way as well, in the sense of just what it does. Like, we have a lot of crackback, a lot of follow back, especially with Petal coming back and then being able to search stuff is pretty cool. So these 2 cards were last minute additions, and I really like them. I like having 1 for 1, being able to, it works very well with, like, Petal, especially, like, if you open Unexpected Die plus, like, an extra twin or something like that. Like, it just allows you to get, like, 1 for 1 just turns into, like, Petal, and then Petal allows you to get the Princess, and then now your entire combo is then Nibiru proofed or Ash proofed. Your Sowing's Ash proof, you know? So it's just really cool. It's just another way to get access to, like, Petal. And then like there was a few times today where my opening hand was die plus petal, and that surprised me because I saw die plus petal way more than I saw like Lily plus die. And like statistically, since we play more Lily because it's technically a better extender. And if we're to compare little, it's a little, Petal to Lily, I think that Lily is superior simply because Lily gets us to an Omni negate. Petal gets us to just a standard monster negate, which I think that with other stuff floating around, like, and we already get to this through our combo lines too, so I just wanted to capitalize on definitely seeing Lily over like the Petal. But it just gives us another, like, someone good with math can break it down. Because God knows I'm not good at math. The statistics and stuff behind Petal and like seeing Petal with like Borea and stuff like that. Or seeing Petal along with like Lily with like a starter and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. You just need to see ways to like, so the deck is just so good, guys. Like, so good. Maybe this just gonna be like a ramble. More like a ramble. And then another card I want to talk about here is Shadow. Shadow is very, like, I thought about cutting Shadow and I'm so happy I didn't. And the reason I want to say that I'm happy I didn't is because, like, there'll be certain combo lines where you open certain cards and you grab Shadow, and Shadow's just that other extender that pops down as long as you control the vanilla. And it's just free. To me, which is kind of crazy. But, of course, let's go ahead and talk about the highest impact card of the day is Rikka Con, guys. This card right here just literally, you guys will, when I discuss my top 4 match, I have gotten this habit of using Strenna to detach the princess to grab back the princess, because I don't want my princess frame 1 called by the Graved. So I've gotten a habit of doing that, whereas in this scenario, if I would have grabbed back the Madon, it would have put me in a way better situation, because then I would have had follow-up, a lot more follow-up in the sense, and that's what I should have done. And I didn't do it, and I think it kind of, if I had a shot to come back in that top 4 match, that was it, and I blew it. But I mean, it is what it is, right? It's all learning experience. That's all locals is. So, like, don't take, like, what I'm saying as, like, truly gospel, because my local experience is going to be different than yours. These are just what I've experienced, especially for those people who are, like, old school Plant Link players who've been kind of wondering. Maybe you're like me and you don't like the Rikka Sunavalon stuff because it feels so watered down and it doesn't feel like Plant Link in a way. But the deck, like, this list performed phenomenally, guys. Like, people don't understand how just crazy this deck is. Like, literally, they don't. The deck literally, and again, I'll show it. I have it on camera. The deck literally ate Droll, which is a hard counter to this deck, and Nibiru, and still put up 3 disruptions, given we got our nuts cracked on Dark Ruler. But, you know, if they got Dark, we can't really do anything about Dark Ruler anyway, especially if we had to eat through both those hand traps, right? Didn't see a single Mystic Mine. This card got sided out a few times. As far as side deck goes, or like how the extra deck performed great. There's not much to change about this. Believe it or not, I actually got to Dance Peon today, and I actually did not biff once. I didn't biff a single time. I didn't exactly excavate great. There was one time where I excavated 3 monsters, and I was like, we're in it. We're in it. But other than that, it was just kind of like, it did its job. This right here, this card really helped play through getting disrupted. With that being said, this card is literally the ability the deck has to play through disruptions, especially if our hand's already weak and we end up eating like more hand traps than what we're supposed to, and stuff like that. My favorite thing ever is like the incorrect hand traps kind of hurt the most, especially when you go Dryas and like you really need Dryas to resolve, but the opponent hand traps this instead of the Sowing, which is incorrect. Like, if they're gonna waste a hand trap on Dryas, go ahead. Like, at least twice today, I unexpected die, made Dryas, and then I had a Lone Fire in hand. And I literally just normaled the Lone Fire, tributed the Dryas, summoned out Loki, made another one, and punished them for it. But it's those awkward timed hand traps that are like good. Like, it was like a bad play, but good scenario, right? Where they hit this, and I was like, wow. Like, all I had was an extender. In most case, guys, my extenders have always been the Lily. So, like, literally, I do this. They ash this. I make Lily. Lily, send the card as equipped to grab the Disc Coliseum, add Regulus, link up here into Dance Peony, and then just try to extend farther. Like, especially when you don't have like another plant to follow up with. We actually were able to Oak TK with Thrasher today, like 2 times, which was really nice. And Healer, which is the MVP of the entire day here. Being able, this deck, like, so another thing I want to discuss about with this deck, right? The one thing I will agree that the Rikka variant, the harder Rikka has with this deck is This deck is in it for the long war. We're in it for the long haul, the long war, however you want to say it. We will punish the players who don't know when to wrap it up, and go on to the next game. Because in a game 3 scenario, when time's close, this deck will always win. 2 of my games today, I won because I didn't refuse to pack it up. My opponent refused to pack it up because, for lack of better terms, this deck kind of plays with its opponents. And in some of your weaker hands, it just doesn't seem like a lot, so the opponent tries to play it out as much as they can. And so with that being said, and maybe that's the best way I'm describing it, is you get to punish your opponent for trying to play the game because they are continually trying to break through or break out of their board. And given if you negate the wrong thing, bounce the wrong thing, tribute the wrong thing, or they draw insanely busted, they are able to catch back up, and then the tides of the game can go from this is you, this is them, to all of a sudden it shifts like this. And you just got to be a good player and know when to do it. And I feel like with this deck here, especially since the locals I went to hasn't really experienced Sunavalon Rikka or Plant Link that much, I was in the better scenario because I knew what their decks did better than what they knew what mine did. But healer and the deck is just in it for the long war, and that's what we're gonna call it, the long war. So it punishes those players who don't know when to scoop it up and go into the next game, because they're going to keep dragging it out until we get into that game 3 scenario where I just go first and I'm going to gain 800 life, and that's that, and the game's over. And that happened multiple times, and there was 2 times that the time in the round was 1 minute, and even at the fastest, I bet you I could probably get maybe a full combo done to get at least a disruption would take 1:30. And that's not stalling. That's just trying to play as quickly as I can. And I bet you it takes that long. But doing that 1:30 turn gives me 800 life. So healer is just MVP, guys. Healer, this deck just should not lose in time. Now, given if you are open very subpar and you start getting just whacked and thrashed, and then of course, the deck's not going to win in time. But at face value and baseline, this deck should not lose you in time. Period. That's just how good healer and this stuff is. This deck is in it for the long haul, and it's going to punish those players who don't know how to wrap it up. And vice versa. If you, as the Sunavalon Link player here, as you as the Plant Link player, you don't know when to know your beat and to go ahead and wrap it up, that's on you as well. You need to know also when your chances, and that's something that I would maybe we should call it the strategic retreat. We're in the long war, so you got to know when to do a strategic retreat to hit that game 3. Because you know that in game 3, you can put up a way better board, and you'll have higher life. So it gives you the probability to the chances of getting closer to time to be called to be less stressed and more concerned of just trying to win and combo in a sense. But anyway, outside of just Dance PME and Healer, everything performed like it was supposed to. People sleep on the big old tree, the embodiment of the Lorax here. This card literally searches you a skill drain. And guys, don't forget this thing clears back row, especially since if you all day, my board, I did not open outside of those hands where I opened 3 Lily, which again, statistically improbable. You can actually end on this with Begging Lancer still live, and you can use this card to tribute the Begging Lancer. You destroy 4 cards, free real estate, super free real estate. I would love, guys, to move on and talk about my side deck, but I did not see a single side deck card, honestly, and that's one of the reasons I believe this deck's biggest weakness in any shape or fashion is the deck has 0 draw. Since you do play Lily, you could play Therion, the draw Therion card, but I don't believe that would be consistent enough. It'd only work if you happen to open Disc Coliseum, and I don't feel like we play enough Disc Coliseum to validate that. But literally, my side deck I didn't see any of it. I don't even know how else to describe it. In theory, everything in here was supposed to be good, except for I forgot to pick up Crows. And there was a lot of Sprite. There was Sprite and Tier was kind of a lot there. Along with, there was not really any, bad matchup, to be honest with you. Everything, there's Drytron, Branded, Tiermalint, Sprite. The only thing kind of left field was Neos. So, in theory, everything I had was great against everything I played. I just never saw it. And that's, again, this is the same logic on why I don't agree with playing the hand traps. And you should just play, full combo to the roof, full send, is because the deck has no draw, the deck has nothing like that, so you're dependent on what you open, and that goes for your side deck too. If you don't open a side deck card, you're not going to be able to draw into it. Unless you play a plant side deck card that you can search, which is something I've kind of thought about doing. playing more plant, like the Naturia stuff that like have like restrictions or like the ability to lock your opponent from like activating spells and traps and stuff, I've thought about playing that because like that is searchable, and you know, like I can get to that. Whereas like none of these cards are searchable. I'm hell bent. I have to open these, otherwise I'm not going to see them. And yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. I'll click my rambling real quick. But again, 4-0 with this deck, and then this is probably my deck of the deck of the format for me. Especially until like we get some more stuff. The Spriggan stuff just launched. Super excited for that. Same with the Cross-Chilla stuff. I'm really interested in that stuff. Before we continue on, Dark Ruler No More definitely is a card that I want to talk about. Because, how do I put this? This card helped me break one board. That's it. I only saw it once enough to break one board. Everything else, the plant stuff just did naturally. And I mean that in the sense of there's one hand to open Con-Con, and now Con-Con was free because I opened Con-Con plus Rikka name, and I was like, great, well, guess what? I'm attributing your thing, so it doesn't matter. And then other than that, the deck, just like the way the deck plays and all the way the deck extenders and everything work, they really have a good time navigating and working their way through established boards. So anyway, guys, that's it. If you guys, like I said, comment down below if you guys want to see that test hand video, because I'll 100% do it if you guys want to see it. Other than that, guys, please remember to stay safe, stay healthy. Check the links down in the description below to support the channel. And other than that, this is Charles from Team COG, signing out.